noticed that clock you have on your arm.
Which one? Oh, dude, it's been there.
That's a good one. That's
I've had it
Flavor
for,
Flav.
Dude, I've had this for a couple years now.
Man.
At least.
Nice.
That is awesome. Speaking of the
Garmin Tactics, my dude.
is that one of those that does your checks your heart rate and stuff like that?
It doesn't
too?
have the HR.
Okay.
But it does have night vision, so who needs HR?
I mean, if you can see in the dark, why do you need to know if your heart's working or not?
Yeah.
I can't see in the dark, but what it does is it takes the screen and makes it compatible with NVGs so you can
Shut up.
see it.
What do you use MVGs for?
Dude, we use them on our task force all the time on our water rescue team. What? Oh, yeah, all the time. That's probably one of our biggest assets.
Do y'all use the PVS 14s or what are y'all using?
It's that new.
That new, whatever
Yeah,
the new is.
yeah.
Is it the duals or the singles?
It's duals.
Shut up.
Yeah, dude.
That's cool.
We ain't got no middle of the mall stuff.
Night vision's cool. No, that's very cool. I like
Yeah,
it.
that's
So I actually just recently started. I don't know anything about these watches that check your your heart rate and like tell you your steps or whatever, and like if you did a workout or like how you're sleeping. But I know that I have night terrors. We've talked about this before about the night terrors that I have, right? So like I wanted to start getting something that would monitor my sleep and figure out like why is this like when is this happening, and am I light sleeping more or deep sleeping more? Are they happening? And just try and analyze as much as I can.
Yeah.
But this thing's like way over my head, which is why when I look at yours and it's even bigger, there's like more room for stuff that would be over my head.
No,
so it's like overwhelming.
It is a little bit bigger in the fact that the actual watch itself is bigger, but yours has way more capability than mine does. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
Mine's pretty simple. It tells time.
Time.
It does a lot of other things as well, but like I like the navigation part.
That's right.
It's awesome for in a boat.
Is it a
When we're-
compass?
Yeah, when we're running and it's compatible with my phone. So if we get GPS coordinates to go to a location and say we're on the river or we're doing land search or whatever it may be, if we get a last known point of contact and it happens to be GPS coordinates, I can plug them into my phone and then pull it up on my watch, and it's just a big arrow.
Stop.
And it's like, bloop,
Stop
and
it. And it tells you where to go.
yeah, which is great when you're driving a boat down a river.
Wow.
Because I mean, I could just. Bloop.
I need that for like everything in my life. Like,
Right.
where are you going, Dane? Oh,
This is
way.
the Garmin Tactics Bravo. They make one all the way up until the Delta, so it'll go Charlie Delta. But the Delta one, dude, it's got Jump Master in case you feel like jumping out of planes. So
That's not something I'll be worried about, but yeah, it's good.
It's got a little bit all of
man.
it. But the Delta does have HR and all that, their heart rate monitoring and all that. But
So, speaking of airplanes, have y'all ridden in a helicopter before? Y'all probably do it
have,
all the
yeah.
time.
No,
You've
wait.
never been in a helicopter.
Nope.
See, I thought I was like the only person that had just never been in a helicopter until recently. And I took Tila to Myrtle Beach, and Dad got us this one of those tourist things or whatever.
yeah.
Man, that helicopter stuff is. I think I would feel a little bit more comfortable if I was driving it. But man, that's a weird feeling. That's a strange feeling.
I've never been in a big one. I've been in a Black Hawk before.
I wasn't into
So,
Black Hawk because
Yeah, that's
this
the
was
only.
like
that's about it. I've been in a Black Hawk.
Black Hawk sounds more stable than what I was in
Right.
because this is like we got 4 seats and we're in it like this.
You're on one of those Robinsons, or I think that's what they use down there.
I don't
Big,
know.
long.
I was in a ride.
mast.
I didn't want to be in it. I can tell you that.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to be away from it as quick as possible. I did it because it was Tila's birthday. Yeah, that was it. Like I wanted no part of this helicopter ride, but it was cool.
The things we do.
Did you notice on your watch, like with your sleep, did you ever figure out, was there a dip in, like, was it deep sleep and then the anxiety? Or?
So we're not there yet. I haven't had a night terror. I just got this thing like 3 days ago. Hadn't had a night terror in like 3 days, which is actually praise, right? But I also haven't been getting as much sleep. So the cool thing about it is when you stay up too late, like if I have a show or something, and then I get up too early the next morning, it tells me like you get a sleep score every night. So like my sleep score will be like a 37 or something, and they'll be like, you went, bro. This is why your body sucks. This is why your body hates you right now because you're not getting these. So this is cool because like I need that reminder sometimes. Like, hey man, the reason you feel like crap is because like I look at the camera when I start to say shit. So the reason you feel like garbage right now is because you're not getting your body the proper amount of rest, which goes even beyond the sleeping part. Like during the day, there is no rest at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I'm not getting any rest at night, any rest during the day. therefore everything starts falling apart. And we forget that. Like,
I
we
was
forget.
I was the same way. I had a Fitbit Blaze, which was the precursor to the Apple Watches. It was the top of the line thing back in the day, but it tracked your sleep too, and I ended up cutting that feature off.
He was done.
I don't need to know.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm tired of you telling me how much I suck at sleeping.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that was about the time my son, he was probably
Oof.
maybe 5, and my daughter was just born, and then Firehouse, and it was like, dude, my watch would tell me, it's like, how are you alive?
That's exactly right. We don't know how you're still functioning.
Yeah.
You know that mode that says like if you go 50 minutes into an hour, it'll buzz to tell you to like walk around.
Move. Yeah.
Mine was doing it at night when I'm
No.
trying. Yeah.
You can set parameters.
No.
I turned that feature off. I was gonna bash the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that's awful. Yeah, I haven't seen that feature yet at all in my
Yeah.
life.
If
My
it
life
wakes you
doesn't.
up, that's what's
My
going
life
on.
doesn't consist of sitting still that long. So
Right.
whenever I finally do sit still, my watch is like, man, thank God.
Yeah.
We can stop for a second. But very interesting stuff. But no, I another reason I wanted to start looking is like when we do shows and leading right into, obviously while we're here is talk, I know we get sidetracked a lot, but when we're doing like stunt shows or even music shows, like I wore it during the show this past weekend at Bourbon Street playing drums, so all that stuff, like I want to see where my heart rate's at and where and they were telling me, like, I did that 3-hour show at Bourbon Street and this thing never said that I got into like their whatever the top mode is for like cardio. They were saying that, like, I find that extremely hard to believe because I know how hard I was sweating and like I know how hard I was breathing, and they were like, "No, bro, you weren't even doing anything." So
Try harder.
Why don't you step it up a little bit next time? So I don't know.
Maybe the sweat in between.
Maybe so. Yeah. I have questions though. Me and this watch, we have a weird relationship now because I don't feel like it's giving me the credit I deserve. But but no, I definitely, speaking of the shows, I don't know if any of y'all saw, like, you probably still hear it in my voice. My voice is still hoarse because, like, last week was so, I was talking to you earlier about how far behind I am, you know what I mean, right now, because last week was just huge. Like, it was, and we've literally been preparing for last week for, like, months, like I can't even stress to you enough how like Tila's constantly either peeling stickers or like making the new gear for the dudes, or like we're having to build new ramps or go out there and rehearse. We got the practice spot out there at the property, so like for the past 2 months we just introduced these new guys that are like these hot shot gymnasts. There's a guy named Matthew Long and a guy named Bogdan Robertson.
Shout out.
And you have to you have to say it like that because he's from Russia, right? So he is a great, both of these guys are like top-notch gymnasts. So we've been extremely excited about getting the show, back out there with these. We have a great, we've always had great dudes. We have a great team. Kyle Hodgson is, obviously been there forever. Solomon Harvey been there forever. But those guys are parkour guys. And I don't know if y'all know the difference in parkour and gymnastics, but these gymnastics dudes are like the pretty version of parkour. Like
that
parkour is
sense,
right. Like parkour is like a very raw, uncut, jumping off of stairs and just concrete to concrete, that sort of thing. The gymnastics guys, like, we can utilize these trampolines and all this other stuff. These dudes go way, I'm talking 12, 14, 15, 16 feet up in the air. These dudes are going up and doing these flips and stuff like that, and then coming back down to the ground. So it's very neat how,
That's fun. Yeah.
Yes, and it's very cool how not only introducing these guys adds that whole new flavor for the kids to be like, but it's also made us all, like myself, Kyle, Solomon, we're all now stepping our game up.
Yeah.
Because these dudes are like 20 and 24. That's their ages, like 20 years old, 24 years old. So me and Kyle's almost I'm 36. Kyle's like 32, I think, or something like that. So, like, we get out to the stunt spot for practice, and we got a little limp, we got a
little hitch.
We're going out there like, okay, I think, and those dudes just come out there full of testosterone, just ready to pick the world up and drop it on our heads. You know what I'm saying? So it's so cool.
How did they come in contact with you?
I stalked them. Yeah,
Nice.
I stalked
Nice.
the crap out of them.
That's
yeah,
successful stalking.
Absolutely, no, for sure. I absolutely did. I have I make no bones about it. I am constantly looking for, just other people that might be like-minded and, may want to bring something. Because, like, I know that this show is ever going to be evolving. Mm-hmm. And part of the evolving is my body's not going to make it much longer. Like, as much as I hate even saying it, like, literally makes me want to cry every time I say it out loud. But I've already told myself I've got till 40 years old. I think we talked about this before. Like, 40 years old is where I'm going to be like, okay, I need to somehow step back a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I've got to find other things that are entertaining for the kids. And unfortunately, there's not, the stunt thing keeps getting, with New Hanover County, it just keeps getting shut down. I don't know how else to put it. Like I keep finding these dead end roads. So
that's the bike stunt stuff.
The
though,
bike
right?
stunt, that's correct. So not the parkour stunts and that sort of stuff. So that's where I'm trying to slowly. I want to keep it on that same tip of physically fit, taking care of your body, following your goals, following your dreams, setting goals, attaining those goals, and things that are difficult. Things that may potentially hurt you. I've talked before about Cowden. One of the things that he hashtags all the time is do something difficult. You're right. We've seen it.
Right.
I can't stress that enough. Like that's such a big deal. I think as far as your own self-worth, right? And that's, to me, like, those two words sound so cliche, but self-worth is huge. Like, if you feel like you're worth something, not only are you going to be better for you, you're better for the people around you.
Yeah.
So like if we can give, anything to these kids to inspire them to have like self-worth and learn things that make them feel like they're, at least worth something and useful or good at something, that's always the end result, So the music thing is definitely going to slowly evolve. I think the music thing's coming, but as far as stalking them dudes, as soon as I saw Matthew was the first one that I found. He's the guy he's from America, and he's the one that's American. And he literally, I just saw his Instagram is the Flippin' Ninja, and I saw his name, and I was like, okay, I'll check it out, and then went and looked at his stuff, and he was doing these insane, like, he did a double front flip on the grass, like no trampoline, no nothing, like landed this double front flip or something on the grass, and I was like, okay, we probably don't need to do that on concrete yet, but
right,
a double front, like, I don't know if you can even picture this, like the kid, there's no trampoline, that's 2 front flips. I can't get one.
Yeah.
Can you get one?
I can land on my back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get like a half on one.
Yeah,
consistently.
And slap on my back. Yeah.
I'm done. So, when I see the things that these kids are doing, and I call them kids, they're 20 and 24, that's weird. But when I see the things these guys are doing, and I'm like, man, like, if I can just get these guys on that platform in front of these kids, number one, it shows these guys that, like, they're not putting all this time and energy into this for nothing. Like, it gives them self-worth. It gives them a reason to keep practicing, keep pushing. That's the most motivating part for me for getting these people on this platform. But number 2, putting it in front of these kids, like, these dudes are, when I say they're jumping the van, like, you've seen the pictures. Like, these dudes are literally putting the boxes or the trampoline on one side, going over the van, doing a jump, flip, somersault, whatever. I haven't learned all the names yet. And then coming down on the other side.
Yeah.
Right?
Not dead.
Not dead.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly. Like the other day at Malvis Corner, the kids, whenever all these guys were doing their thing, it's our big finisher now, right? They're all doing it, and the kids are going, Dane next. I'm like, no. So, like we talked about before, so like just trying to change the subject because it's just so cool to watch. But I cannot imagine, what it's the same thing with any of us. Like anything that we wanted to get good at, we had to put so many hours into it and falling down. If we ever tried to do any of that stuff, but
it has to be a ton of prep, like doing these stunts before those stunts. I'm sure the guys get tired.
Absolutely, and that's another thing is like we had 2 shows since COVID. It's been like consistent that we've had to do 2 shows back to back, 3 shows back to back. You know what I mean? For them breaking these kids up and putting them in smaller groups. And holy crap, like, you don't know. Our show is only like 20 minutes long. I cannot express to you how exhausting that 20 minutes is. Like, I'm still a little bit hoarse just from the shows last weekend. And just how much we yell and scream and get them kids hype, and they all the kids. As soon as I see the kids get hyped the first time, it's on. Like, the switch is flipped. I just go into this weird mode where I'm like, okay, we're all insane. I don't care. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're all gonna be crazy together, and we're all gonna put 100% into it. And I scream more than the kids do. It's nuts, but no, I absolutely Bogdan, the Russian guy. Like, he literally. Just both those guys. I can't say enough good things. Like,
does he wrestle bears?
We've actually talked about that.
Yeah,
and he says yes.
I believe it.
No, seriously.
What part of Russia is he from?
His name is Bogdan. See, don't get me lying because I don't know.
I need to talk to him.
That's right, because we got to figure out this bear wrestling thing.
Yeah, there's a certain part of Russia where they wrestle. Well, they breed number 1 UFC fighters for one.
Right, Khabib, right?
Yeah, Khabib. That's just one.
Right.
But they breed these amazing humans that are incredible at combat sports.
Bear fighters.
But they grow up wrestling bears.
That's it.
Real bears.
Dude.
Not big hairy men, but real
actual
bears.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
My brain can't can't understand it. But
Yeah.
it's wild. So I need to talk to him.
We need to catch you a bear, bro. I got bears out there on my property all the time. I'm sure you got some bears out there where you.
Dude, I ain't
has to
wrestling no bear.
I'm telling you right now, man. That's how we make a man out of
Nah.
you, right? That's how we make a man out of him, cuz. Put him in there with that black bear.
I ain't wrestling no bear.
Tell you what. So the bear that I've been wrestling here lately, like that little segue there, is trying to get this awesome show. You know, I've got all these dudes and we've put all this prep work. And I don't know if y'all remember last time, a year ago, I was here, literally almost a year ago to the day.
Was it
here.
really that long?
Seriously, it's been a year.
Wow.
Crazy,
That's
right?
nutty, yeah.
But I was here talking about I had just gotten all the new rules and all the hoops that I needed to jump through and that sort of thing, and started getting the insurances. We actually ended up getting the all the I had insurance before, so we doubled the insurance. We doubled the insurance that I had, so now it's like before it was like $1 million. Now it's like a $2 million whatever. I don't know what it was, but
I don't want to interrupt. But let's reset the stage.
Give it to
here. So back, what's it, 8 to 12 months ago, we'll say somewhere in that time frame, right? The Board of Education here in Hanover County told you that you could not continue the shows due to X amount of reasons. One was insurance. One was there was a handful of issues, right?
That's good.
So what I'm hearing now is that you have satisfied their request and the fact that they wanted you to get insurance. They wanted you to do. Is there anything else specific they wanted you to do that you have done?
Yeah, no, everything. So literally there was a list of things that they sent, and on the list, the main things, like the majority of the stuff was just easy things that they could have just said, and we would have been able to change on the spot. But just little stuff like we would have kid participants, and we would have Kyle or whoever run and do like a side flip over the kids or something, right? So they were like, we can't do that no more. Okay, so we take the kids out of the show. That's an easy fix. So little stuff like that, pull the boxes further away from the kids, whatever. We pull the boxes that they jump off of further away from the kids. We give everybody more space. No problem.
Easy stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. Like none of these things are difficult. The insurance thing was the most expensive one. So we did the insurance thing and got that done. I won't say quickly, but we got it done within a month or two. And then I ended up in the process. I also set up a charity, a 501c3, so that I can help fund these like these yearly costs, these yearly expenses that we need to be able to appease New Hanover County School Board. And like you were saying before, I didn't go enough to the beginning, but yeah, we actually, when we had that show a year ago at Murrayville Elementary, which is where my anti-bully campaign started 10 years ago, we had that show and invited the superintendent was brand new at the time. We invited the new superintendent so he could see this awesome show that we have and the impact it has on the kids. And that's when everything just went totally out of control, like totally, completely spiraling out of control with them saying, you can't do this, you can't do that, and why are you doing this, whatever. So then it began this, okay, we're gonna fight to get whatever we need, right? So the community stands behind me, and they always stand behind me, and they always support me 100%, right? So they've absolutely, so many people have stepped up to the plate and helped any way that they can and bringing attention to it. So we absolutely got everything that we needed, and I went ahead maybe 6 or 8 months ago, I think I started talking to Murrayville again, because they're like so after they canceled Murrayville, like Murrayville was they didn't cancel Murrayville, we did the show. New Hanover County School Board was like, hey, we got these problems. So I was like, okay, I'll fix them. Well, while I'm fixing these problems, they're going behind me and they're calling Blair and they're calling Rachel Freeman and they're calling all these other people that we had inspirational shows lined up with, and they're just saying, now we're going to X-nay all this. We can't, not like, hey, we need to adjust this. Not like, hey, we need to make some changes.
Shut it down.
Shut her down. That's right. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll take the L this year. So we used that time. We used that downtime to like completely revamp, found the new dudes. Got the new dudes worked in, got the insurance, got the sweet new outfits. We, changed up the boxes, built brand new boxes, got everything that we needed to make this thing more legit, safer. I bought it myself, a new helmet, new gear, new gloves, new everything that I would need for the shows. Anything that needed fixing on the bikes, we got all that stuff fixed, because with the 501c3 now, we have like some support, which has been awesome, because with that support, we've been able to build a bigger show. Rocky Point Elementary, whenever we were there last Thursday, Rocky Point Elementary, one of the counselor who brought us in, she was like so baffled with how much bigger the show is, because she hadn't seen it in like 5 years. So whenever we came out there the other day, she was just like raving about how cool the show is now and how much bigger it is, which is exactly how it should be. Like, we should be able to put on this bigger spectacle for them, and that's why we're always trying to trying to get the funding together to build this bigger show, because I don't think people really understand all the time the money that it takes, like just to put these shows on at the schools and make them not only safe, but like something that's kind of fun for the kids, right? Like it takes, it takes all these people putting in all this time. They've got to take time off work. They've got to be able to make these boxes and make the motorcycles work and put the time in and break things and put things back together, And
the boxes aren't free.
That's exactly right.
Time and money to get the materials, all that stuff.
Not to mention now all the hoops we have to jump through with like the insurances and things. It's at $1,200 and $1,400 a year, whatever it ends up being. I don't remember, but it wasn't anything astronomical like I thought it was going to be. But it's over $1,000. So like little stuff like that just kind of nips away at you all the time. Like I fell off one of the bikes the other day and just broke some stuff up on the lever, which is not a big deal, but that's $150, $200 that you fall down one time and that's what you end up with. So. Whatever, don't fall down, I guess. But no,
fall less.
That's right, fall less. That's always the plan. But no, I just am very frustrated, with trying to appease the New Hanover County School Board and all these other, like in New Hanover County, we're still doing private schools, we're still doing daycares, we're still doing private events, we're still doing things for and with people in New Hanover County. We just can't go to the schools that are governed by New Hanover County School Board. So. Very, very interesting dynamic, yes, sir.
Have they give you any more? Excuse me. Have they give you any more reasoning of why? Seems like you've satisfied what they asked for to begin with. So have they give you any more reasons of why not? I think you've gone above and beyond. To be honest with you, you got us involved. You got the fire service involved. We were very much on board with participating. At least when you came to Murrayville.
Yes.
And I'm sure if you did other stuff and reached out, then they obviously would help you as well. But I don't understand if you're satisfying the need of what they're asking, why you're receiving pushback now.
Yeah, and that's it's funny that you just brought that up, because I've received so much support also from the fire department. Like every time I've called you guys and I've said, hey, I want to do this show at Burville, I want to do this show at wherever, and I want you guys to literally be a living safety barrier. Like I want you guys to come in, I want you to stand between me, my motorcycles, and those kids. Right, and there's been zero setback about that either. Like you guys are all about it,
Yeah.
So I can't think of anything else that whenever I got to the meeting this past week, the reasoning.
What meeting?
I had a meeting with the Murrayville Elementary's principal and the social worker.
Okay.
I thought I was going to like meet with them about having the stunt show there.
Right.
And then I got there and they had this look on their face, like I knew what I was walking into. Like, how sometimes you walk in the principal's office and like they're all looking at you like, oh, okay. And, like the air's really thick.
Have a seat.
That's exactly what it was, bro. That's exactly what it was. I was dying.
I don't mean to keep interrupting you, but I think details are apparent for transparency through this.
Please.
So to get some buy-in and as much support as you can, you need to serve the details up in a healthy fixing.
Always stop me and always make sure I'm giving the detail, because I get excited.
Of course.
And I just start spitting stuff out, everywhere. But with this meeting with them, it became pretty clear, not very far into it, that they got shut down again, with the motorcycle part. So they basically told me that whoever their contact is with the school board had said, we can't do anything with the motorcycles. That's it. So you can tell Dane he can come talk to them or high five them or whatever, but there cannot be motorized vehicles at the show, which was why, look at his face getting red, which was why I got the insurance and jumped through all the hoops, so we could salvage the show as it was, because we have such a cool show.
I know, it's a lot of fun to watch. Yeah.
So fucking cool. But
you see the kids enjoy it. Like
absolutely.
It's apparent. It's all over the internet. I mean, they have the time of their life out there.
That's it. Man. It's very, very interesting. So no, I certainly I get it. Nobody wants to get in trouble, but on the backside of that, like they gave me a list of things that I needed to do. I did the things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The things have been done. So it's kind of like, it's a slap in the face for sure. And on the backside of that as well, you want to salvage. I want to salvage my message. Right, like taking the message to the kids, but without bowing down to the school board. So you're always like this mental, as men, we got that, that P word,
right? Yeah,
sure,
the pride word. So part of you wants to say, I'm just going to shut it all down. We're not going to do it at all. And that's Kyle from Soul Free Running. He's the leader of the parkour guys, and he was like, man, I don't want to do any parkour. I don't want to do any shows unless the motorcycles are there. That's what we've been working on. So we put all our time into it. So we put our effort into it. That's our show, So I understand exactly where he's coming from. Flip side of that is, if I have an opportunity to talk to, 500 or 600 kids and maybe get them to listen, they may still listen. If I even have a chance, let's take it,
Yeah. Bravo for keeping that that mentality.
For trying, for sure.
We've got some inspirational messages coming up.
Yeah, sure. A bunch of them.
People standing with you.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear. No, I'm very glad to hear, and I appreciate it. We don't have any questions or anything, right, that we need to be addressing?
No.
No? Okay, cool.
Not yet.
Somebody wants you to go to Port City or PCA. I'm assuming it's like Port City Academy.
Maybe so. I don't know. But seriously, that's another thing I want to bring up. Okay, first of all, a common misconception with this show is that schools or these schools or private schools or daycares or any of these places, that they have to pay for it. It's not costing these schools a dime, right? And I've said this before, which is another big hang up with how does New Hanover County justify, the decision. Because that's another reason I started the charity. The charity, Stunt Shows for Kids LLC, is literally to fund what we're doing so that no school or daycare or whatever it is that we're going to have to pay for it.
Yeah, there's no burden on the budget.
That's exactly right. Did you say burden on budget?
Burden on their budget.
There's no burden on... Yeah, there's no Bob. There's no burden on the budget. I'm keeping that, dude.
Yeah.
I'm keeping it. There's no Bob. Did you see that? There's no Bob.
There's no Bob.
So look, we keep Bob out of the picture.
Yeah.
Which, I'm to be totally honest with you, when it comes to New Hanover County, that is the number one factor that they seem to weigh in on most above all of it is financial stuff. Is how does it make sense money-wise?
Always. And that's, that's not just them. Like, when we were at Rocky Point Elementary and Malpas Corner Elementary, that was one of the questions that came out of their mouths as well. Like, what's this going to cost us to have this show? Because they want the show terribly bad. So, they're like, whatever we can come up with, we'll make it happen. And I'm like, you don't have to come up with anything.
Yeah. Give me the kids.
Give me,
I'll do the rest.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Put the kids in front of us, and that's all that we ask for. And man, we had 3 amazing shows at the end of last week. It was Thursday, we had one show at Rocky Point, and then Friday we had 2 shows at Malpas Corner Elementary. And they were just all, the staffs were amazing at those schools, and the kids were amazing. And you could just tell that, the energy was almost higher right now, post-COVID. Rocky Point Elementary said it was the first assembly that they had, now granted it's outdoors, but it was the first full assembly that they had had in 2.5 years.
That's nutty.
It was the first time they had the entire school out in 2.5 years, y'all. So I, stuff like that, that's a big deal to me to be able to get them kids out there and them, number one, have fun. But number 2, just be able to get out there and interact for the first time in years.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're up against a motives question? Like maybe the board doesn't understand why you're there?
Yeah. Well, absolutely. So I don't see how they could understand how they could not understand why I'm there, because the message is obvious and the message is reiterated constantly.
Consistent.
Yeah. And it comes from everybody's mouth. Nobody. It was the weirdest thing to me a year ago whenever all this went crazy and the news got on it. I keep myself from doing this most of the time, but every now and then I would check some of the comments under the news articles just to see what people were weighing in on, and there weren't the negativity was not there. That was insane to me. Not only was it insane, it was completely inspiring to push harder for what I'm doing. This is something that's one of the few things that our community agrees on.
Right.
Holy crap. Imagine how big this thing is and how many people's lives it must be touching in a positive way where nobody had anything negative to say about the show.
That's pretty powerful.
Insane.
I'm just I don't see how it's not been how you've not been given the opportunity to go and be in front of the Board of Education as a body. I mean, they're a governing body, obviously. So why are you not able to go in front of them and not one? Maybe I'm not going to go as far as saying pleading your case, because I don't think you have a case to plead, but maybe ask for reasoning and understanding. So you have to so you can streamline this line of communication where it's you're hearing it through a social worker who works for this people who works for this people who works for this people, you know, we all know that that's, I mean, the longer that it takes for the message to get from the horse's mouth to the donkey's ears,
so true.
It changes so many paths, you know, based on agenda or just misinterpretation or misunderstanding.
Yeah.
We can't even get our text messages together in our primary complete group chat
Yeah,
and make everybody understand it.
For sure.
So, I mean,
sure.
you're traveling all these places through all these avenues of one set of ears to another and so on. Why can't, it's such a big deal. I mean, and it comes across, obviously, through social media and through the citizens in New Hanover County. Why can't the board just invite you in, or why can't you just be a part of it and say, okay, so let's get some answers. Can we or can we not? And if we can't, that's fine. Just give me some reasons why, and we'll try to adapt the show so we can keep serving the same mission and providing the same message that we're doing, but just tailor it a little bit better so we can get back into the schools or be in the schools to the best aspect that we can. I don't understand where the communication is lost. I mean, they work for the citizens of New Hanover County, so if the citizens of New Hanover County want you to be in their meeting, I don't see where there's a problem.
Right.
So one of the struggles that I've been dealing with that is shortly after my ordeal, and I mean, but when I say shortly, I mean days after my ordeal was on the news and everybody was talking about that. I had planned on going to the next school board meeting and talking to them there. Well, right along that same time, all these other issues popped up that people had with the school board meetings, and that's when the school board meetings started getting weird, like aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Big
saying?
time politics.
Right.
Yeah.
And these were things that I just it sounds, you know, it sounds like I'm copping out, and I know it's my fault, but I don't want to be in the middle of that shit.
I understand.
I don't want to be there in the middle of a bunch of yelling people and people getting escorted out by the police and stuff. Like, this is not a way to. My message is not going to get heard because everybody's yelling. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
if everybody comes to the table and they're already pissed off and they already have an opinion, well, why am I going to go give people one more reason to be pissed off? Which is something that people keep commenting on. Like, every time I'll post something about these issues that I'm having, they keep just saying, well, if you needed one more reason to be pissed off with the New Hanover County School Board, and that's never my agenda.
No, yeah.
Like, my agenda is certainly not to make people upset, and I don't think that's ever the end goal. Although that's exactly what happens. You know, it does absolutely make people upset, and I agree that talking to the school board would be the best way if the conversation can be had. But I'm not going to fight through whatever other craziness that they've got going on in there for this
I agree
conversation.
with you not going to the school board meeting. If I'm sure you know that these guys are arguing like out loud about this topic and this topic and this topic. If I bring in this thing, it's almost like am I being disrespectful?
That's exactly right.
This is an important issue. This isn't the right realm to talk about it. So
Right.
I totally understand that.
And that's what you're saying is absolutely right. I don't know exactly how to get there. I've had multiple one-on-one conversations with other school board members who claim they love the show, who claim that they want this thing to keep happening, who claim that they had no idea that these things were getting shut down and that they didn't have a say in it. But you know how that is. You know, you never know if what you're being fed is they just want to be on your side because they know you've got a platform. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, they know that. I don't know. You know, I hate to be that dude that's always crying about some shit, but like, there's no other way for people to see how disgusting this is without like getting on a platform and being like, hey, dudes. It's not my, like, I get these messages literally when they start hinting around to these kids that I'm coming to that school, I instantly start getting messages from the parents about how pumped up they are about the show. What do I tell these parents?
Yeah.
And this is not make believe. I mean, you repost the messages and stuff that you get. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
It's not made up.
Absolutely
I
not
mean,
made up. No.
The whole world can see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see it, you know, anytime we post things from the shows, like the parents will go up under all these things and talk about the posters the kids got, how much they love the show, how the kids came home excited about something. Dude, this is 2.5 years that these kids have been prisoners, bro. Prisoners, right? So for them to come home and be excited about stuff, you could tell that these parents are on like another level right now. Like this is another level of, hey, I appreciate you for putting a smile on my kid's face.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the other day we were doing a show at Malbus Corner, and like I fell down one time. You know, when I told you I broke the part on the bike or whatever, I fell down and got back up. And you know, a couple of the kids were, you know, they came up, they were like, "Oh, are you okay after falling down?" And I was like, "Yeah, but what do we do when we fall down?"
Get back
Get
up.
back up. That's
Yeah.
absolutely right. Like there is no like, even if I fall down, even if those guys fall down, as long as we show these kids that life has hurdles, you may fall down, but you get back up. Like
Yeah.
there's another teaching point. Even when I wasn't successful.
Yeah.
Right?
You're entertaining with a message. It's a beautiful thing. I don't understand why you're having to fight so hard to do it.
I don't even know why we're having this show.
Why is this happening?
Why are we doing this?
Can't let me talking about something.
It's crazy. How far are y'all willing to go, like travel wise?
Oh, I thought you meant like death. I was like, hey,
No,
bro,
no,
I'm,
no,
not,
no, no.
I'm not gonna like joust for it or
Are
nothing
you ready
like
to
that.
die
Like,
for this or what?
I gotta say it was a good day. No, there's really no limit as long as we have the funding. Like
Sure.
as long as I can get the dudes out of whatever pay them from the fundraisers that we do and stuff. I can give them enough to where like they miss whatever work they need to miss.
Right.
I feel like if the kind of the wider that you can spread it,
Yeah.
then obviously the more funding you have availability
I agree.
wise.
Nope, I absolutely agree. Now the other thing with that too is like I still have schools around here that I need to touch. Like that was the first time that I'd been at Malpas Corner in like 6 or 7 years probably, right? So that's not right. Pender County is where I grew up in. Pender County schools. Like when Mom moved me away from Noble because I kept getting my ass whipped, she needed me to go somewhere where it would be a little bit better school systems, people more understanding. Pender County was my safe haven. Pender County schools were my safe haven, which sounds insane, because everybody's got their own thoughts and opinions on different schools and different school systems. But I'm telling you right now, the best thing that ever happened to me was just getting me away from the situation that I personally was in and then getting me out there. So I'll forever be grateful to those podunk schools that I went to, quote unquote,
Right.
out there in the middle of nowhere. So I always try to, every chance I get, I try to talk to those kids and tell them I'm a dude that went to these same schools. I grew up 3 miles from where I'm doing this stunt show right now. 2011 and 2012, winning like world's stunt moto competitions and stuff like that, like video comps and these, all this stupid stuff that the different places that I've been. And I literally grew up in Podunk, Rocky Point, North Carolina, spending a lot of my young life.
Yeah.
It's insane. These kids don't even believe. I can see it in their eyes that they don't even believe me a lot of the time.
He's lying.
That's bullshit. But I can't stress enough. And Wilmington too. Like so many of my stomping grounds are in Wilmington and in Pender County as well. And I just I try to tell these kids like I am walking the same footsteps that you walked. There's nothing that you could possibly do that I have not done yet. And I have done a lot of big cool things. All because I put my mind to it and I stayed focused and I just set goals and I attained them.
Yeah. You got up after you fell down.
That's exactly right. You get back up. Get back up.
I've got some pretty good connections in Duplin County when it comes to school board people and so what. But if you're willing, then I'll reach out to them.
Always. Now, the biggest thing with the schools is we try to keep it elementary schools. And I think we talked about this before.
Yeah.
But like even if it's a middle school that wants it and like we know the kids want it at the middle school, we'll do it.
Sure.
But elementary schools, man, that's always a shoe-in. Like we know that we could touch those kids and we know we can be influential and we know that we could talk to them and like get that message across. As they get older, they start forming their own opinions already and they're too cool. So we can never forget that anyone that's in 7th or 8th grade is already too cool. So, so we, we kind of don't do as much with middle school. But, dude, I'll say that Cape Fear Middle out there in Rocky Point was one of the most inspirational shows that I've ever done. And when I say inspirational, I'm not talking about to them. I'm talking about to me. Like, that's the only show that we've ever done where for like 2 weeks after that, I kept getting messages on my Instagram of those kids inspiring me. Like, you guys did such a great job. I hope you do everything else that you want to do in your life. Like this is coming from an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they were so grateful that we just brought them something, and I will never forget that to this day. It still gives me chills when I start talking about them kids. And, that was a big deal to me because we have not had the warmest welcome from a lot of the middle schools, depending on what middle school we're at. So that's how, through trial and error, we've kind of leaned more toward the...
It would be interesting to see if you went to a middle school that the year prior or even 2 years prior you had went as to the elementary where it's the same set of kids and see if the response was any different.
See if they recognize it. Dude, what's the craziest thing is like whenever I'll go to Chick-fil-A sometimes and the kid working behind the counter at Chick-fil-A will be somebody that that saw the show at Murrayville,
Right,
or something
right.
like that when they were an elementary school kid. That shows you how long we've been doing this. You know,
Yeah.
when
Right.
these kids were at Murrayville Elementary and now they're working a job somewhere, that's cool.
Yeah,
Whenever
good.
they still remember the message.
Yeah, good vibes are contagious,
For sure.
and
for
they
sure.
last.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's and that's another reason. Like people can say what they want, but like you get so like me personally, you could as a motorcycle stunter. You see these guys all the time, motorcycle stunt dudes. Like there's a few of us still floating. Like it's still pretty popular, but we tend to do these motorcycle stunt guys. We do these shows at like drag strips or motorcycle dealerships or grand openings for motorcycle dealerships where it's like a bunch of 35 to 70-year-old men, or whatever, and they're standing around, and you might do a little trick or something, and it might be funny, and they'll go. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they leave, and they don't tell any of their friends, and they don't
Yeah.
remember your name.
Right.
They don't remember who you are, right? So you didn't really make a fan. You didn't really do anything with these skills that you've developed. Like anybody that stunts motorcycles anywhere near controlled, at a controlled level, you want, or me personally, I want all of that time that I spent, like all those hours and hours and days that I spent to be worth something.
Yeah, to
like,
mean something.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And this is our whole goal in life, to whatever we get good at, for it to be worth something. Whatever we put all our time in needs to be for something, right? So this is it. Like there is no other outlet for a motorcycle stunt dude, Yeah, there might be the random 4 guys that get picked up by Monster Energy, right? Maybe those dudes or whatever, 4 out of however many 100,000 or whatever it is, So, it's just, in my opinion, man, there's no better way to, and that's why I started, with this charity thing. Like the whole reason I started stunt shows for kids was to find other like-minded guys like me that have just poured so much time and energy into what they're doing, and they really give a damn about their craft. To give them an outlet, number one, but also a platform.
Yeah, and a purpose.
A purpose. That's absolutely right. Purpose. Because, dude, everybody always talks about, like, especially in entertainment, that as soon as we see it all the time with, like, quote unquote stars. As soon as the stars aren't on that platform anymore, like anybody who's ever been exceptional at anything and people watch them, as soon as they don't have that platform anymore, emotionally, mentally, physically, everything goes down the tubes. Like you have to have a reason. And if you've ever been at, I talk to Mr. Maynard about this sometimes. If you've ever been in a situation where like you're in front of groups of people and you get, you get these things and like there's 1,000 people, 2,000 people. Do you know what I'm saying? It's addicting, bro.
For sure.
It's a mental almost disability at that point because you thrive on that. Like you have to have that. So, these guys, I just hope that I can, I saw it in the new guys this past week. Like when they first saw it, we were at Rocky Point Elementary and like we were kind of starting to warm up. They were doing their little jogging around. As soon as they saw like the first 20 kids come out and then 40 kids and then 120 kids, 240 kids, 300 kids, however many it got to. One of them, like the youngest dude, Matt, he turned around and looked at me and was like, bro, this is a lot of people. Right. And I was like, I told them coming up to it. I told him coming up I was like, you'll never be as nervous as when you have 400 beady little sets of 7-year-old eyes, like staring at you, waiting on you to just do something cool.
Yeah.
Like it's the most nerve-wracking thing that there is. So it was cool to see these guys not only get out there and feel that nervousness and like feel that energy from the kids, but like as soon as the ball drops, they crushed it. They crushed it. And like that's what separates the men from the boys. You know what I mean? It's just like being out there and being able to control your emotions and control all that, all that's inside here and still do. They not only controlled it, they utilized it to like their flips were higher. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm saying these guys were going huge. And I was like, man, these guys are supposed to be here. I wish there was more places that we could put this platform, That would be awesome if we could, just like he was saying, if we could travel around, take it everywhere. That's the end goal through Stunt Shows for Kids LLC, is to try and fund these sorts of things. I would love to be able to just have these guys do these shows. Like we'll get everything that we need bought, and these guys don't have to buy anything, and have a place to practice. And
I want to get to that for sure about how folks can contribute to the charity.
For sure.
But first, how does you talked a little bit about Solomon and kind of how he feels about the show. What about the the other talent at the shows? How do they feel? I mean, it's obvious that, I mean, your passion for this is, I mean, it's you can't hide it. So how do they feel when you get constantly knocked down or constantly set back? How do they perceive that?
I try not to tell them
Okay.
as much because they get pissed off. You know,
Okay.
they get really upset, and it's like if somebody says something mean to your mom,
Sure.
and like your mom doesn't get mad, but you want to kill them.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. Like Solomon is very protective, you know, over which is, you know, just it's weird to say it out loud, but that's the way it is. Like he would absolutely do whatever for me, you know. So he gets very upset. I don't tell him very much. Kyle is very quiet, so I do tell him. But he doesn't like get that look in his face like he may murder someone. Do you know what I'm saying? Like Solomon does, right? So Kyle's very quiet and very subtle. So I do talk to Kyle about it more. But Kyle's thing always is he doesn't want to, like with this thing at Murrayville on Friday, I want to do the music thing. And I was like, Kyle, I still want you guys. Like, they won't let me do it. I want you guys flipping. I want you guys doing whatever you can do. You know, let's keep this show going. And, you know, like I was telling you guys before, like they're very loyal. You know, so if I get kicked, they don't want to.
Right.
They don't want to go in there but I just make sure that they understand the bigger picture. There is a much larger picture, not only for our message, but for our branding. Stunt Shows for Kids LLC it's not like just motorcycle stunts. It's not just flips. Do you know what I'm saying? It's whatever show we can put on for kids with our skills. We all have multiple skills, you know?
Right.
We got sweet nunchuck skills, bow staff skills. This guy's a pretty good skill. Did y'all see that? Y'all see that movie?
Of course. Napoleon Dynamite. Of course. Of course.
He wasn't laughing.
Of course.
I'm just not funny. Okay. So no, but I just want to make sure that any way that we can bring the skills to the table and put on some kind of a show, you know, and even one step beyond that, like I am a huge, like it breaks my heart that music is dying in schools. Absolutely breaks my heart. So how can I change this? And this is how the anti-bully campaign came about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't like the way that I was treated. I didn't like the situations that I was in. I didn't like how people were doing me. How can I change it? This is where we're at with the music thing. This is what I told Kyle as well. It's not always going to be the same show because Dane Britt, as a brand, has these different branches, right? And I just had this conversation with the owner of Bourbon Street the other day, and he, like, reiterated, and I was so glad to hear it from somebody else's mouth. But he's so right. There's more branches to the brand of Dane Britt. There's the music, the motorcycles, the mayhem, the whenever I teach firearms, stuff like that. Like it's all over the board. So the music thing is not necessarily taking an L. I just wasn't ready for it yet.
Right.
We've been practicing this one particular show. I haven't practiced anything with this drum stuff. Like I have no idea how this is going to play out. We don't have a specific show. I was like, Kyle, I'm going to set up a drum set. And maybe we can get Bogdan too. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, but I'm going to set up a drum set. We're going to put a trampoline on one side of it. We're going to put your little parkour box on the other side of it. Y'all do what you do. Like
That's a good idea. Yeah.
I think you need to make an apparatus, and so you can be spinning flips while they flip over top of you.
First of all, get out of my head.
I'm just saying.
Because I've already mentioned this to two people.
Fabricators, by chance?
Well, one was a carpenter, so I don't know if that counts. But
I feel like this would probably not need to be made out of wood, but maybe
Really?
like aluminum. Yeah.
aluminum.
I think aluminum will be way stronger and
See,
way lighter.
That's why they pay you the big bucks. I didn't even have aluminum in my head. I had wood in my head, which is why I was concerned.
Unless you could find unless you can find a rare earth mineral that they make Wolverines.
Claws
out
out
of.
and his bones.
Adamantium?
Seriously,
Is that right?
That's
Or did I
close.
destroy
Yeah,
that?
adamantium.
This is listen to me. This is absolutely coming though in the next couple years. There will be something with a drum set attached to it that like gyrates, moves, flips up and
You know
down.
those,
I don't know.
You know those apparatuses they have at like just the little local fairs, but it's a seat that you sit in. It's a very confined little ride, I guess you could say, but it's a seat that you sit in. You're in a 4-point harness, and then they make this thing gyrate, but
Yep.
it's not big. The actual apparatus itself doesn't. The ride doesn't move around. You just spin, inside of it.
Yep. And all these things are going to happen. Like the funding is starting to happen, but we're still not out of the hole that it took me that I had to like, you know how like when you get ready to build something, you have to dig a really deep hole.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to like fill the hole back in before you can start.
Takes money to make money.
That's it, bro. I am so far in the hole with this charity thing right now that it's not even funny. But, you have to get that deep into it to try and make this thing work. So, I can't stress enough that this is coming. Like things that, just like we're doing something, we have the only motorcycle and parkour live show in existence, right? We're also going to have the only
Twirly
drum
thing.
twirly apparatus thing.
Twirly dumb thingy. Yeah.
This is
like
it, because I have to figure out a way to bring music back. We have to make music cool. We have to make a music program cool. And Ed Somek, who's the music director at Murrayville Elementary, big plug to that guy, because he has an amazing music program at Murrayville. So whenever I go, I've done these music shows in the past there with him, so I always make sure that I can play along with him. He's playing with me, so whether it be drums or whatever. He plays bass, he plays guitar, he plays, all kinds of stuff. But I always make sure that I get him involved also, because these kids have no idea what they have. Like,
Right.
they have one of the best music programs at an elementary school around anywhere, at their fingertips.
Yeah. Like if Michael Jordan was your gym coach.
That's exactly right. Nope, that's absolutely right. So, and he pushes them to not only, and this is where it's important, he pushes them to not just learn playing a flute or playing a trumpet or playing he's got them playing steel drums. I don't know if y'all know what steel drums are from the island steel. They're playing steel drums, playing drum sets, they're playing guitars, they're playing bass guitars. All these things can be used as a source of income, right? Like if you get good at a drum set, you'll always have work, right? If you get good at a guitar, you'll be able to find work. If you get good at a bass, I'm telling you right now, there's constantly bands that call me up, that are looking for musicians and that sort of stuff that know their stuff, know how to read music, and are proficient enough to be able to just sit in and play a gig. Like you'll always have that. Don't cook them fish. No. Don't teach them how to cook fish. What?
Are you trying to quote a Bible scripture?
No.
Or something?
What is it?
Teach a man. Teach.
teach
Yeah.
a
Give a
man-
man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach him how to fish, he can eat forever.
That's it.
What's
Give
that got to-
give a man a fish.
You
Huh?
butchered that.
Yeah, that was awful.
Frying fish.
I knew where I was
and-
going. If you fry fish, then you don't
we
have
got
to
this.
fish. No, seriously. Give
the
a man a
kitchen.
fish, he can eat dinner. Is that what you said? Yeah, give a man a fish, he'll eat dinner. Teach a man how to fish, he can feed himself for a lifetime. The whole goal with all of these shows is to teach these kids how to fish, right? We're always trying to teach them how to fish, how to survive. And, it goes on and on and on with like life skills that they may not necessarily be doing in schools, right? Not just music. It goes further than that, but music's just my passion, but I can't get up there and tell them not to bully and then teach them a finance class about how to balance a checkbook.
Right.
That's not going to win them over.
Would there be a way to kind of maybe uptick the MC portion?
Talk to me.
If you said it yourself, in 4 years you're going to phase yourself out anyway. So is there a way to uptick the MC portion, that the Dane Britt portion might not be on motorcycles, but it upticks into the MC side?
Yep. And we've just started that as well. That's
Okay.
That's why my voice is gone now, because I am
You sound
slowly.
great.
Well, thank you so much. I didn't this weekend. So Thursday and Friday shows. I've told Kyle this for the past like 6 months. I'm like, bro, we need to do whatever we need to do to make the parkour part of this show bigger and start phasing the motorcycle out, whether it be because of the danger factor or because of me getting older, right? I'm starting to limp a little bit more.
Danger factor.
That's
I like
exactly
that.
right.
Yeah.
No, all these things have to be addressed. So I try to make sure that they understand that with me not lasting forever on the motorcycle, I can still do other things, that will bring excitement. We've also talked about having the drum kit out there while the guys are doing the parkour thing, and when we do the parking lot shows. Now that the tricks are getting so big with the parkour thing, and these guys are flipping over my van, Like,
Mhm.
this is getting big.
I've seen the video. That's
You know,
outstanding.
for
Yeah.
sure. So,
You can't really do that stuff in the gym anymore. You're kind of past that.
well, that's the thing is if they have a really high ceiling, we can do it, you know? But it has, like you said, it has to be a gym and it has to be like a basketball height kind of gym or activity center or something like that.
Do you prefer parking lots and then you use gyms as like contingencies?
Well, I prefer to do my sweet ass stunt show in the parking lot that we've been working on for the past 6 months, which would only be parking lots. You can't do motorcycle stunts indoors, you know?
Right.
Carbon monoxide maybe or whatever. I don't know.
That's overrated.
Elon will fix that.
That's
for us.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. Don't worry about it. Elon will be put out something shortly, but
Yeah,
but
maybe you can do that. Maybe you can get an e-cycle that makes zero noise and ride that. And
We
then
tried that.
Everybody's fear's gone.
absolutely, we tried. Okay, so we did try that. Number one, the fears were still there, but number two,
That's silly.
they didn't. They don't have the e-cycle. Number one, the stunt parts yet, but they also don't have the technology yet for being able to pop the clutch.
Ah,
Do you know what I'm saying?
right.
And that sort of thing. Like they don't have gears. They don't have. Now, part of that too is Kyle. Every time I bring it up, Kyle's like, no, because the noise from the motorcycle is 75% of what we've got going
Yeah, I
on, which
agree.
is another reason that he doesn't want me playing drums necessarily. He doesn't want me just MCing because the motorcycle noise is such a big part of
I get it.
what's happening. So I agree with you, but haven't quite figured out where to go. But everywhere your head is exactly where we need to be and where we're gonna be and what's happening. It is evolving as we speak. You know, not just because of NHC, but because of DANE. You know, that's the thing. Like Friday, I have to do that music show at Murrayville, and I literally am coming up with a show in my head right now while I'm talking to y'all. We have no idea.
I like it.
I know.
Creativity.
Well, you know, it ain't nothing but a phone call away, and the fire department will be there.
That's right.
So,
That's right. And I always, dude, I appreciate. I can't tell you enough. Like when you call me and you're like, "Hey," you even called me the other day,
I did.
and you were like, "Hey, Dane, you still need us for the stunt show at Murrayville?" And I was like, "Yeah, about that."
That's all right.
Yeah.
But you remembered, and no, that's a big deal to me, man. You guys are always there for me. I appreciate it. You know, and it's hard to. I won't say it's hard, but I don't have the connections in other counties with the fire departments that I wish I had,
Right.
like I have with you guys. So I wish I did have those connections.
Well, we can do what we can. We can do what we can to spread it out.
That's it.
You may not have the connection with the other fire departments, but I guarantee you there's other fire departments that listen to this
Cool.
show.
Cool. No,
So,
man, I would love it if now that we're talking about that, I would love it if every time we have a show in another county, we have that local fire department for that school there that day, interacting with the kids, and for that matter, police department as well. I would love to have, but I don't know how much manpower they can give, or if it's something that they would like to do, or what. You know, I don't know what the rules are there. I want police and fire, not only for just making sure we include police department. We right now need that interaction. We need that police interaction with the kids. It's that positive reinforcement, that positive interaction. It's only going to help.
Yeah.
Like that's not going to be a bad thing to have police department out there also interacting with the kids in a positive way. So anytime I can, if they ever hear if a show's coming up and they think they can send some guys, please.
Yeah, and minimal impact on Bob.
That's exactly right,
Yeah.
Bob. What does Bob stand for again?
But burden on the
Burden on
budget.
Burden on the budget.
Burden on the budget.
Absolutely right. Yes,
right.
for sure. Do
That's
fire
a new T-shirt.
Do fire departments and police departments have like a certain squad or whatever that they would send to do? How does that work? Like if I call a police department for whatever county, or I'm
Well,
sorry, the sheriff's
if
department.
you're going with a school, then odds are there's going to be a school resource officer there anyway.
Okay.
So that's a great resource for you to use if you don't need anything more than his car. Hey, you know, you can coordinate. Let's get your car parked here. I'm going to have this guy from Russia jump over it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Or
that's
whatever,
such a good
you know,
idea. Why did I think about
But then
this?
he can still perform his duties maybe as an officer and his tasks that he needs to do as an officer throughout the school, but his car just is in a different spot maybe.
Yeah.
And then fire service wise, once you get outside of New Hanover County, Pender County, with the counties close to the East Coast, until you get into Raleigh and all that kind of stuff, you go through kind of a flood of volunteer stations, which are all more than happy to participate in that kind of stuff. So that's a phone call, and I'll help you with that. Got a lot of contacts. We can reach out to the the North Carolina State Firemen's Association and see if this is something that they're willing to get their branches involved in. I don't see why not. I mean, fire department's always been super proactive in schools and kids and all that kind of stuff.
But I also want the police department to be just as proactive, and it's more important now than ever. Like we have to have the same. And, we talk about it all the time. Like everybody loves a fireman, right? We have to have that same interaction. This is a perfect platform. Listen to me, a perfect platform to put some police officers out there interacting with these kids in a positive way, and they're hanging out with DB Soul Free Running, who are already in the kids' good graces. Dude, this is. The possibilities are endless for like things like that we can
good vibes.
That's
good
exactly
vibes.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, dude.
It all makes so much sense. I don't understand why we're having to talk about why.
Going back to it.
What I mean. Anyway, I could rant on it. So how do we raise this fund for the charity, brother?
Yeah, so
how do we do it?
There's so many ways. So every time, first of all, DB Soul Free Running, we have our Facebook page, right? And that's like where we're posting the majority of the stuff. We have a YouTube also. Facebook's probably the most active because we always put the pictures from the shows. We always interact on there. But from there, like there's links under every video that we post that have the Venmo is on there. So our Venmo address is literally just at Stunt Shows for Kids.
Perfect.
That's it. So when you go to do it, though, it's not a people, it's a business. They made us do it as a business. So under business, at Stunt Shows for Kids, that's the Venmo. Literally $1. Like if all the people that we've ever interacted with or touched or like they've seen the videos, or if they just send, like the people on my Facebook that see these videos, if they send $1 to the at Stunt Shows for Kids Venmo, like that's everything. And people, I think that people they kind of get ashamed or scared or whatever to send small amounts of money. Like they feel like it doesn't help. Dude, I'm telling you, if all these people that were afraid to send a small amount of money sent $1, that could take us so far. Like it could literally buy us our outfits, our clothes for the show coming up, or a box for the show, whatever. You know what I mean? Like this is huge for us. So, did you get it? Yeah, was it a call? Oh, okay, I got it. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, it was my neighbor. She was giving us a call, so hopefully everything is it back on? Are we on live?
Yeah, you
still?
should be.
Cool.
Yeah,
so, but yeah, no. So the easiest one is going to be the Venmo at Stunt Shows for Kids. Beyond that, we've got our pledge page as well. Like we work with this pledge company or something that like literally just lets people pledge money for nonprofits. So you can donate at the pledge website. The coolest one that I wish people took advantage of more, and this is kind of the disheartening part, is like every time anybody has a birthday on Facebook, what are they trying to get people to do now whenever they have a birthday on Facebook? Y'all seen it?
Donate to your favorite
That's
charity.
it. Donate to your favorite charity. This is so important. Like you have a charity, a literal 501c3 charity, just like the Heart Saving Foundation, or just like American Red Cross, or just like any of these other charities. Literally the same thing. The only difference in ours is it's grassroots, people. This is literally every dollar that goes into Stunt Shows for Kids is coming back out into your community. It's bettering your surrounding area. Even if, like, just like this thing Friday, like, even if we can't take our full show there, we're taking what we could take there. We're taking our message, and if we need to, we'll take, we'll give out Trapper Keepers. So some winner's going to get a Trapper Keeper or some pistols or whatever, school supplies. I don't care. Like, all this money that we're raising goes right back into our community. So if you have a birthday and Facebook asks you, do you want to raise money for your favorite charity? Your favorite charity could be Stunt Shows for Kids. Like literally, this is going right back to you, like right back to your kids.
That's a good idea.
I cannot stress this enough, guys. That it would help us out huge, rather than helping out some multi-billion-dollar charity. That Facebook has suggested that you start raising money for,
right,
that already has plenty of money. I assure you, we do not have plenty of money.
Yeah.
And we want this thing to keep getting bigger and bigger. We need to figure out some way to make some kind of spinning drum contraption or something like Matt was.
I got you, dog.
I don't know what that is, but we're gonna start taking that to schools everywhere. But no, I get continued support from everyone, and I can't tell them how gracious I am. But I whenever I see things like that, where like they they're supporting, like, oh, I'm just gonna raise money for American Red Cross. Like, keep it in the dub.
Yeah.
Keep it in the port city.
Yeah, I love it.
Goes back to the kids.
Where can folks find you?
Facebook is gonna be easiest. So Facebook is where I'm the most interactive. So Dane Britt or DB Soul Free Running. on Facebook. We all have our own Instagrams as well.
Sure.
Dane Britt Stunts, and then Kyle has a Kyle Hodson has his Instagram, and then the Flippin' Ninja Matthew Long, and then Bogdan Robertson. If you can spell that, as Bogdan Bogdan, right? But all those guys are great also. But the DB Soul Free Running YouTube, we just started, and we will be updating that more and more for like the kids. Now, I've noticed lately the kids have gone, which is great. The kids have gone away from TikTok some and started going back to YouTube again. And I guess it's because maybe whenever the parents are doing something, they hand their kids an iPad to keep them busy, and they tell them to go to YouTube or whatever. I don't know what it is. But I've had multiple kids talk to me lately about, are you a YouTuber? Right? I don't know what a YouTuber is, but I put stuff on YouTube. So now we're starting to hit that YouTube market a little bit harder because we got banned from TikTok.
It's huge. YouTube's huge.
Yeah.
You got banned from TikTok.
We got banned from TikTok.
Why are you turning your head? Why? What was the disclaimer for that?
Dangerous acts, man.
Yeah,
Every time
dangerous.
we would post something.
Dangerous acts?
Bro, every time we would post anything, they would immediately take our content down for dangerous acts. And I did it so many times that they finally were like, hey, bro, you don't have a TikTok.
Dude, this live feed is saving me from my mouth.
Bro, I'm telling you.
So bad.
I'm telling you, and you're doing so good. I can see, like, his face has gotten red at least 5 times, and he has not. The verbal judo is definitely, I'm with you, you know.
Yeah, I
but,
have a hole in my lip.
But TikTok is, TikTok is something that we actually have started utilizing us getting banned from TikTok. Because, like, at the end of the show now, before we do the last couple stunts going over the van, that's the one that really got us banned. But, they were pissed off, and then that was like, ugh. So we make sure now that while I'm announcing, I'm like, do you guys want to see the stunt that got us banned from TikTok? You know, and they lose it. Like, of course they want to see why we got banned from TikTok, you know?
That's
so
good, though.
This is how you turn something negative into a huge success.
Yeah.
Huge success. Because these kids, they can't see it nobody can see it on TikTok because it's banned, because it's explicit.
Yeah.
Right? But they get to see it because they're
In person.
the DB Soul Free Running show, So, but yeah, everything that we would post would get taken down. Like I could have literally just been riding around on my motorcycle a lot of times.
That's so weird. Maybe need to be put some kind of thing in the caption or something. No Dane Britts were harmed in the filming.
That's
of
right.
this.
That's right. It's too late now. Yeah, I'm banned.
Yeah.
But no, they it was I guess with TikTok you just have to like talk.
Or post a lot of videos of you shaking your ass, maybe.
Right. Yeah. That maybe I should have done that.
Yeah. You
Because
missed it.
apparently that's not explicit, and it's perfectly fine. Anyway.
Anyway, please go. Yeah, please, you guys.
thank
If you have
God
any
for live
questions,
feed.
that's right. Thank God for live feed. If you have any questions, please, y'all hit me up. But like I was saying, at Stunt Shows for Kids, Venmo, the pledge line, and then also the one of the biggest things and the easiest things for y'all to do is just do those fundraiser things when you have a birthday on Facebook. Please help us. It's a big thing, and we want to keep this thing going. It keeps growing, and we want to keep it headed in that direction. So
Yeah. Easy to do.
keep making it bigger for the kiddies.
As always, is there anything we can do to help? Anything more than we can do to help?
You guys are always this. First of all, these conversations are a huge help. Like when we just open each other's minds up, we open these people's minds up on on the live feed, on the videos, that sort of stuff. This is huge. So, and also just kind of bringing people in on why there's a problem and why it doesn't necessarily have an easy solution yet. Like this is great. So, other than that, just whenever I call you and I'm like, hey man, I really need some firemen to like stand in front of my motorcycle just in case. No, or whatever. No, but seriously, you're always there.
yeah.
He's always down.
Okay.
And when we do the Get Fit with Dane Britt campaign, and y'all come out there and do jumping jacks with us and stuff, like that's it. Like that's all we have to do.
And y'all be there at Murrayville Friday, correct?
That's it. Okay. So if we, we'll figure out a way to include y'all in that. If you want to get on that as well, man, let's do it.
Yeah, I'll get you the contact information who will be on shift that day.
Cool, not a problem at all.
I won't be there, but
that's all right. Don't sweat it. You're always there for me. I appreciate it.
No problem,
dude.
Steve, anything you want to add, brother?
Oh man, this has been fun.
Cool. Is there anybody who wants to chime in on the questions for the chat? Y'all want to leave it open and we can just small talk for like 5 minutes and see if there's any questions that come in? If there's not, then we'll wrap it and be done.
Q&A would be great. And okay, so you guys, if y'all do have any questions, are there still people on there? How many? 8. There's 8 people. If there's any of those 8 people that have any questions, so check it. So
I'll reshare it.
One thing that I want to bring out as well, I heard this not too long ago. Actually, it was whenever I was training for my black belt test. And I kept getting my ass kicked recently. So, but I think last time I was here, I just started training for finishing up my black belt. I can't remember.
I believe that's
correct.
I
just started retraining because I hadn't finished it when I was a kid. So finally finished that. But like in my training, Mr. Maynard, one day I was getting my ass kicked, like couldn't breathe. And he said, "Hey, are you in the cage with the lion, or is the lion in the cage with you?" I don't know where he got that, and I'm sure he didn't make it up. And he probably didn't even think as much of it as what I have.
Right.
But everything in my life has turned into that. Like school board. Are they in the cage? Am I in the cage with the lion here, or is the school board in the cage with me? And I'm telling you right now, they literally they are always in the cage with me. Like there is no such thing as me cowering to anyone. You know what I mean? And I have to keep that mindset with like anytime we get ready to perform at a school or something like that, like stunt shows and getting out there and just doing this stuff and overcoming. I try to stress this stuff to kids as well. You know what I mean? When they have things to overcome, you have to have that mindset. Like you're not in the cage with your problems. Your problems are in the cage with you, bro. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's not like you are the smaller force. You always have to be the bigger force, and mindset is such a big part of that. You know,
That vibe is so perceivable by the kids too.
For sure.
They see that you're up against something and you're just taking steps, trying to solve it.
Bro, when I fell down the other day and my bike was literally like on top of me, and I crawled out from under the bike, you know, and I got up and went, right? You just saw the kids lose it, bro, because they enjoy seeing that adversity. They don't like to see you falling down because it's scary.
Right.
But dude, when you get up and like they could tell that it probably was uncomfortable, you know, but you get up and you're like, keep going.
I'm up.
That's it.
Yeah.
Anything? We good? Good to go? Sweet, man.
Yeah.
Well, if anything pops up, I'll keep checking it as well. I'll keep checking the feed.
Yeah, it should be.
If anything pops up,
It'll be available. They'll probably, and it's operating somewhat on a delay anyway.
Cool. Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
Anything else from either one of y'all? Need from me?
Nah, I love you to death, my
I love
dude.
you.
Yeah.
I love both of y'all. Man, I can't tell y'all how much I appreciate this.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in. This has been
Absolutely.
fun.
You can always reach out when you need us, bro.
That's right.
Yeah, I guess we'll kind of tackle this ourselves. I contacted every single news outlet in Hanover County.
Okay.
And they all showed no interest.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Shame on them.
That's all right. I mean, it's old news now, you know. So
Well, I guess
get
so,
it.
but yeah. So I was pretty discouraged.
No. Don't be. Absolutely not. So the biggest thing is.
Guess it didn't bleed enough.
No.
So.
The biggest thing is the problem is people are aware of the problem. There's not much, it's like so much of this going back and forth has been happening with the school board now. People are almost like, okay, well,
Again.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the issue because now it's like nationwide. Isn't it like a nationwide thing where people are fighting with the school boards now? Am I seeing that correctly?
There's a few
it's like
real
everywhere.
hot topics.
Right.
now.
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't pay close attention to it, but I hear the word school. Like ever since my ordeal, I've been paying, maybe my ears are perked up more now or something.
Right.
But dude, I hear it in across the nation. Everybody's having, so I would imagine that the news is probably like, okay, well, nothing new here. The school board's pissed somebody off, you know. Nothing
but
to see.
even in my correspondence back and forth with them, it was I never said anything about the controversy with the school board in your program. I just said, hey, this is Dane Britt. Most of them already knew who you were, and I was like, okay, well, he's coming on show this evening promoting his 5013C so he can keep his primary message of positivity and anti-bullying going on, and teaching people throughout the county how they can contribute to that and keep this thing going. And they're like, okay,
we'll get back to you.
What's your phone number? I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Don't call me, I'll call you.
Yeah. I'm not sure that I want to give you my phone number.
Right. No.
But however, if I'd have called him and like, Dane Britt just slung his motorcycle into an
800 kids.
an entire group of kids, you should probably be here. There'd be black marks in their parking lot. They'd be killing it to get out there. Anyway.
I could dig it. Well, I do appreciate it very much, though.
Anyway,
Thank y'all.
so
No,
all right,
it's
well, we'll
always
keep
great.
sticking our heads out there for you, brother, as always.
Thank you. Anything? We good?
Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
good to
shut
go.
it down.
I'm sure there'll be a boatload of comments and mess coming to you
That's
later.
all
So
right. Yeah, we'll get
don't lose
get
any
'em
sleep
answered.
over it. Check them.
That's
Check them
right.
tomorrow, maybe.
Thank you.
All right, brother, be good.